Hello, my peeps. It's Vicky here, and I am excited to be working on a project with something that is near and dear to my heart, scrapbook kits. So this one is from Hip Kit Club, and it is the June release, and it has a whole bunch of Color Kaleidoscope in there. So I'm going to work on a project using some of the yumminess in this kit. Look at Hip Kit, love it. And there's even some fun mixed media stuff from Lindy's Stamp gang, and I'm going to make some fun mixed media background. So let's get started. I decided I wanted to create a traditional scrapbook page with some mixed media techniques, and I really love how this one turned out. So I'm going to share a couple of tips here on how I created this background, and I love all the product in this June kit. So let's get started. I selected a bunch of papers from the kit and used the June color kit as well. So the stencil is perfect for adding textural background. I decided to use some of my iridescent glaze, and then I placed it down on a blending mat and then just sprinkled some of the magicals into the glaze and blended it together till I got the desired color. These blend beautifully, and just make sure you put down enough medium so that you can pull it through the stencil, whatever you're using, if it's gesso or a different type of glaze. And then I sprinkled some of the pink in there. I used the pink and the blue and just blended it. And like I said, these work really beautifully. These powders are perfect for adding to textural medium. So then I decided on a sheet of cardstock to just go ahead and start placing some of this glaze, which adds a nice textural effect. And then they blend beautifully because pink and blue will make a purple. And I placed it in the upper right-hand corner. And then decided to blend a little bit of the material that was left on the mat and make some splats and dots on the background. And then decided to take it a step further because I really love the color that was coming out of this. I just started to pull some of that wet medium with water to create this kind of fun iridescent background that I just blended using the medium while it was wet on the background. So just pull it through, add a couple more dots, and keep working until you're happy with the amount of color you have there. Surprisingly fun technique without adding an extra step, just by blending water into the wet medium and pulling it in. And once you're done painting, just set that aside to dry. It will take a little while. And look at the sparkle. I love that. Great technique. I hope you give that a try. And now to build the layout. I decided to cut clouds out of the Look Up paper from Color Kaleidoscope. And it's one of my favorite papers in this whole release. So I just cut that out and then started to decide how I was going to lay it out. So I thought the clouds would be a great base on that. And then thought cut down the mixed media background just so it's an accent with kind of a border on the background with a piece of pattern paper. So to start, I had this rainbow one, but then I switched it out because I found that there wasn't enough contrast. So I just went ahead and trimmed the clouds to fit, and then went with the polka dot paper from Simple Stories, and then layered some bits down. The Oh Yeah from, I think it's Heidi Swap, and then the bright and bold stripe on the bottom. And then I found there was some buckling on this paper, so I decided to give it a stitch. So I stitched the mixed media portion on the background and found that that made it lay flat. And then added my photo and then started to work on my title. So I love this set of thickers in this June kit, and I decided greatest because she's my greatest mom, and then decided to play with some of the embellishments. So I opened up the package of Color Kaleidoscope ephemera and then picked out the bits that I wanted and matted my photo so that there'd be a nice contrast there with the rainbow colors. And then started to add some foam squares because I find that that is my favorite trick, is to just play with light and shadow to add dimension. And now just kind of fiddling around. Decided one of these Heidi Swap stickers I love, but I wanted to back it on a piece of paper so it's more like a piece of ephemera, so I could play with it and didn't have to actually stick it down right on the page. So just trimmed a piece of the scrap paper and backed it. There's no mat there, just so I could play with the card and shape it how I wanted. And it's going to be the base for my title. So then kind of started layering some of the banners from the ephemera pack from Color Kaleidoscope, and then the butterflies, of course. I use them all the time. It's probably my favorite element ever, is butterflies. That's why you see them in everything that I do. and then just kind of gave the little card a little bit of a fold to add dimension, and then adhered it in the middle. I like to kind of play around with all of my pieces before I commit with glue. So once I'm happy with where everything is kind of sitting, then I'll go in and tack it down. So I wanted to add the title onto the green sticker because I thought it would be a great base so it doesn't get lost on the background with all that color going on. So just placed it down there and then decided to use some of the little blue thickers for Mom because she is the greatest mom, and really happy with how this is turning out. And just started to add some butterflies and then tack them down when I'm happy with their placement. And then of course pop the wings up with a little bit of 3D foam and then add a few more butterflies. There'll be 3 on here for sure because I love that kind of 3 elements all the time when I'm creating my scrapbook pages or really any project. I decided that the green leaf would add a nice linear effect beside the photo and kind of frame the photo. So I added the leaf there with, again, some foam squares and adhesive, and then just kind of rounded the edges to give it a little bit of dimension, and popped some of the leaves behind the photo and some on top. And I really love that element and how it kind of guides your eye. And then to finish, the other butterfly, and changed my mind on those hearts. Decided that the little metallic stars on the iridescent stars from the foam thickers would be perfect in this background. It ties in the title and ties in the iridescence for the mixed media part. Added the banners and it's all done. And I love it. Love how this turned out. And one final look at the finished project. See guys, a box full of opportunity. That's why I love kit clubs, that I didn't have to think about anything. I just open the box and all of the opportunity is right there and you can make something awesome. So I hope you enjoyed that, and great job, Hip Kit Club. Love it.